evening, Falcons. I'm Liv Wickenheiser.
And I'm Leah Jager.
Welcome to our October edition of Wingspan.
Here, we'll highlight our most interesting segments from the month, including interviews, short film behind the scenes, and student life recaps.
Wingspan takes flight now.
Each year, Cedar Crest hosts Falcon Fair to allow clubs the opportunity to fundraise and promote their program.
Clubs each have a stand to sell food, play games, or host an activity. This year's Falcon Fair included karaoke, a magician, hand-spun cotton candy, and much more.
We talked to student council leadership about how they planned and organized the event.
Hi, my name's Katie Gunji, and I'm the president this year of Student Council.
Hi, I'm Brady Castle, and I'm the secretary of Student Council and the committee leader for Falcon Fair.
Falcon Fair is an annual event that Student Council runs about mid-October, so it's a great opportunity for the clubs to get to know the students, for students to get to know the clubs. So we had a lot of food trucks this year, a bunch of yard games, and overall this clubs are just able to get information out to the students about what they do.
So Student Council, we started preparing about a month ago for Falcon Fair, so early September. We started by drawing a map and laying out where all the clubs were, and then from there, once the freshmen were elected, we gave out a schedule for the day, and we really got to know the underclassmen through this, and it's been a great experience.
It's Student Council's first big event of the year. It's really the first event where we're all working as a team for one big event. So we have to make the posters for each of the clubs, organize the schedule, get in touch with the clubs and the food trucks, make a map, and overall just organize the logistics of the event. And then the morning of, we're all setting up the tables, making sure the food trucks know where to park, and then all the chalk art that you saw on the ground, Student Council did that morning.
I think Falcon Fair brings the council together as it's the first event that we host every year, so the upperclassmen really get to know the underclassmen, and we all come together to make an amazing event for the students.
I think Falcon Fair went really awesome this year. Everything was super organized. We got a lot of compliments from the teachers on how well it went. There was a new setup from last year. We did it similar to Relay for Life, and that was really great because it spread people out more, and it allowed students to just be more spread out and hang out with their friends.
It went really well. We had a really organized map, so that really helped us lay out everything, where everything went, and I think everyone in the school enjoyed it, and it was a great event. My favorite thing that happened at Falcon Fair was honestly just walking around and talking to all the students and seeing them enjoy this event that we put so much hard work and effort into.
At their own 40 feet. Back up.
Who am I here with? You're here with Weston Demler, first touchdown scorer of the 2024.
And how's it making you feeling?
I'm on the moon right now. Honestly, it's the greatest thing I've ever achieved in my entire life, and it's just one of many more to come.
How do you think the game's gonna go? Who's gonna win?
Well, usually the faculty plays possum a little bit and lets the students think they have a chance, and then they pull away at the end. So that's what I'm looking forward to again this year.
Coach in the process.
Yeah, they're doing real good with that. Let's keep going. All right, who am I here with?
Levi Haynes.
And Mr. Simpson.
All right, guys, how are you feeling after that glorious touchdown I just saw?
I'm feeling pretty good and supported by the Falcon community.
All right, how are you feeling, Mr. Simpson?
This school's the absolute best. We love Levi. He's the man. The senior class is awesome, and Cedar Crest is the best. Go Falcons.
Go Falcons. Good night, teachers. You're going down.
This month, our film crew, Cut Through Productions, worked on STN's Horror Fest prompt.
Take a look at this behind-the-scenes exclusive on our crew's origins, planning process, and production team.
Cut Through Productions was our 8th period film class, started last year by aspiring film student Finn Royer. And basically, at the end of his junior year, he said, I need a film crew. And he chose Reed Fretz and myself, Logan Balmer, and the teacher who ran it was Mr. Hassler. And basically our job was just to make short films for just national competitions and also for the school. And just a couple days in, Mr. Rory joined. And now it's grown into not just that crew, but the crew this year and the crews following on. We do make school pieces and little shorts for that, but primarily it's for the STN, Student Television Network.
Drum roll. Hurt your thighs, hurt your thighs. Cedar Crest High School!
They host a variety of different competitions. The first of the school year being Horror Fest, which is the project that we are working on right now.
The prompt for this year's Horror Fest was that technology is evil. We had to use a shot where a screen completely lit the face of our protagonist, and our protagonist couldn't communicate to other people without the use of technology.
We just keep throwing around ideas until something sticks with the majority of people. If there's a disagreement on something, it's hard to get around it, but we iron it out before we go into filming.
And we thought that it just would be kind of boring and kind of cliche to have two people talk to each other through the phone, so we just eventually decided on just one actor. Like, what if this AI was like really manipulative and trying to get this person to go insane?
Our prompt was focused on one subject, and she suddenly woke up in a hospital bed, and kind of the idea is that AI or a certain computer needed to fix humanity. So it's kind of just following one subject through her story of how kind of this played out between the conflict of humans and the computer or AI.
I think the best part of Horror Fest so far was really just getting to know everyone and like what everyone likes to do. And I really enjoyed working with everyone and, you know, working on the sets, the script, creating the story, make it unique.
So my favorite part of Horror Fest this year was the editing process. I liked learning about all different kinds of audio design and even some color grading.
I would say that my favorite part was filming down in the nurse's office. It was a lot of funny experiences, while good learning experiences as a cinematographer.
So this was my first time acting, really ever, this big role. And I had a lot of coaching from the rest of my group because we had a good idea of how the storyline would play out. And it wasn't too hard because I really didn't have any lines, but it was also really challenging because I needed to tell a story through facial expressions.
My primary role was color grading in Horror Fest, which is, we film in a log, which is a flat picture profile, and basically color grading brings out the color in that and gets it more vibrant to make the picture look good.
The most challenging part about Horror Fest, I would say, is trying to find the right ending within the time limit, because you're restricted to 1 minute.
The most challenging part of our Horror Fest this year had to be getting reshoots. And knowing that we filmed in the nurse's office, we couldn't always just go right back to the nurse's office. So we would have to improvise and use the studio and make sure no one could tell the difference.
We're there for one purpose, which is to win.
What sets us apart is just our expectation for ourselves and being able to push past what we did last year and win even more than we did before.
Hispanic Heritage Month occurs every year between September 15th and October 15th.
This month is a celebration of Hispanic and Latino history and culture. It also acknowledges the important impact that the Hispanic population has on the betterment of our country.
So my heritage, I'm Puerto Rican, so it means everything to me.
I get to keep alive the heritage that my mom and dad gave to me, raising me in the boogie down Bronx of Puerto Rico amongst a community of brown people, a community of Puerto Ricans, a community of Boricuas.
My Spanish heritage means a lot to me, especially being brought up by my grandmother, who was born in Puerto Rico. She taught me a lot, and she's the reason why I learned Puerto Rico, at least where we came from.
My heritage to me is my roots and like all the cultural things that have been passed down to us, like all our traditions and just our whole history and background.
I'm proud of it. It's my connection to my culture. So it's what identifies who I am, a Latina. My favorite thing is the culture itself.
It's a vibe, I would say. Hispanic was just a vibe we have.
I love the language, which is Spanish.
I can say, what up, Jodalise? Or I can say, mira, ¿cómo estás? Vente, pasa. So it's just appreciate it, just being able to be bilingual and being able to communicate with many sorts of people, both in Spanish and English.
We all speak mostly the same, but you'll be surprised how we speak a little different. Not every Spanish person speaks the same.
The food is also another thing that I really love.
Can't go nowhere without eating my Spanish food, and I love every kind, especially my maduros. Never leave a Spanish restaurant without maduros.
And I love our gatherings when we come together. It's always like just one huge vibe and just kind of have to experience it to understand.
I show pride by speaking Spanish, so I grew up learning both languages, Spanish and English. And I was taught how to make the foods, I was taught how to make all the Spanish foods, and that's what I teach my kids, that's the tradition. Like one of the tradition foods, it's pasteles, and that's something that, during Christmas especially, even Thanksgiving, but mostly Christmas, we get together and we make pastel, and it's a process to make that. The same thing with arroz con gandules and the desserts like the arroz con dulce and the drinks like the malta. It's just these nice dish that we have in our cultures.
I show my pride by supporting my Latinos in any kind of way, and especially our holidays, and especially dancing, showing that I love dancing my Spanish music.
And if you catch me in the morning coming in my car listening to salsa music, shout out to El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico, my all-time favorite salsa band. I just love the music, for example, and as you can tell by my physique, I love to eat my Boricua food, my Puerto Rican food, my Latino food.
Latino Puerto Ricans, we have a flag everywhere. And I like to share on social media, like anytime I see anything related to PR, like any achievement or just anything that makes me feel proud of being Puerto Rican, like I tend to share things.
Basically, you learn a lot from the Spanish heritage that you learn, but it's more when you actually come from that culture. If you go to the countries, you'll see it's so different.
We're strong. We're loving, we're kind, we're very friendly. If you go visit Puerto Rico and you go into a restaurant and you're eating, everybody would say like buen provecho, which is, good appetite. It's just something that we have as a community, and it's in our culture.
I do think nowadays, maybe because of back to social media and all that, I feel like the Hispanics are more united than ever, like all the different countries, feel like there's a lot more unity amongst all the nations than there has been before in the past because of how we're able to connect nowadays. And I think that's awesome because there's over 600 million of us worldwide. And if we're united, that's a force.
To my Colombian brothers and sisters, my Venezolanos, the Dominicanos, all my Latin American students, we appreciate having you guys. What you guys bring to Cedar Crest High School adds more to the to the diversity and the vibrancy of our school. And we're just glad that we're all representing and just contributing to a wonderful environment.
My name is Mrs. Reyes.
My name is Mr. Diaz.
My name is Mr. Carmona.
My name is Ms. Vasquez, and I am
proud of my Hispanic heritage.
As November 5th approaches quickly, the race to be the next president of the United States is tightening. Hey Liv, what are your plans to vote?
I'm gonna go after school with my mom. We talked to students about their plans to vote and the importance of voting in this election. The 2024 election is coming up. That means that if you're 18 or older, you need to head to the polls. This year's election is on November 5th. If you're a first-time voter, I know that it can be overwhelming and stressful. Don't worry, the process is quite simple and I'll take you through it. First step is you need to make sure you're registered. If you're not registered, you cannot vote in this coming up election since the registration due date was on October 21st. But this does not mean you can't still register to vote for the next one. To register to vote, you need to fill out the voting registration application. To do this, all you have to do is go on www.pavotingservices.pa.gov and follow the form. If you think you've already registered, check to see on pavoterservices.pa.gov. You can check your voter registration status by your name, driver's license, or pen.id. Now that we have covered registration, let's go on how to vote. Luckily, there are multiple ways to go about it. The first way to vote is in person. Most voters prefer to vote this way. If you're voting in person, make sure you know where the poll you registered to is and when it is open. The second way to vote is by mail. Sadly, since the application for a mail-in ballot was due on October 29th, you cannot vote by mail anymore. If you did receive a mail-in ballot to vote, make sure your county election office receives it by November 5th. If you want to mail your vote for the next election, make sure you apply for one at www.pavotingservices.pa.gov. Remember, before you vote, make sure you take time to educate yourself on all the candidates and pick the one you like best. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the rights and rules of voting. If you're a first-time voter or voting in Pennsylvania for the first time at a new polling place, you must bring a form of ID to the polls or they will not let you vote. Keep in mind that every vote counts. Pennsylvania is a big swing state and could determine the result of the election. It is your responsibility to head to the polls and vote for what you think is right. This is Brooklyn Wilson with CCHS Today, signing off. Happy voting.
That's all for your October edition of Wingspan.
Join us next month for the November episode.
I'm Mr. Hassler.
And I'm Mr. Worry.
Make it a great day, Cedar Crest.
And happy Halloween!